Hey everybody, Mark Agnesi here in the back room at Norman's Rare Guitars. Welcome back to another episode of Guitar of the Day. Let's see. Dan Electro U2 from a couple Weird Ass Wednesdays ago. That one just bit the dust a few minutes ago. The Weird Ass Wednesday guitars are going, man.
They love it.
That stuff's been sitting around here forever. I'm gonna start doing some weirder stuff because, man, I'm just making room for some new stuff to come in next week.
Yes.
I think thank God we have a big influx of guitars. Not that the place is starting to look empty, but it's starting to look empty. There's only like a few thousand things in here right now. Let's see, Flat Top Friday got a totally rad guitar, probably one of the rarest that we've ever done, and we've done some pretty rare stuff. Brand we've never done, never talked about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Why don't you guys come back, check this thing out. This is hard to date because it doesn't have a number, but based on the features, this is probably from the early 1930s. This is a Maurer 595 presentation series made by Larson Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of bling bling. Why don't you take a second, Jen, and just guitar porn this thing here.
It's gnarly. Look at that.
So we've never done a Larson Brothers guitar. A lot of people don't even know about the Larson Brothers because they never actually made anything under the Larson Brothers name, but they made tons of things under a variety of different names. So let's talk some history here really quick. Two brothers, Carl and August Larson, came over from Sweden in the late 1800s. Both musicians, both had an affinity for building things. I think it was in 1900, there was a guy named Robert Maurer in Chicago that had like a lesson shop / they built some guitars and things like that. They bought him and his shop out and continued making guitars under the Maurer name. But they've made guitars under a lot of names. The Larson Brothers, they did stuff for Gibson, they did stuff for Gretsch, they did things for Epiphone. And then there's Maurer, there's Prairie State, there's Euphonon, there's Lion and Healy, there's Dyer. There's all these different companies that they built guitars under. They're very, very rare. They say maybe about 2,500 total instruments were made by these guys. And then when you take into account that probably close to half of those were mandolins, they did a lot of harp guitars, stuff like that. The actual 6-string guitars are incredibly rare. They kind of follow Martin's sizing patterns. This would kind of be probably most similar to a 00 sized Martin. This one has got really killer Brazilian rosewood back and sides on it. Spruce top, not just pearl, but the pearl is inlaid inside of a double kind of herringbone inlay, going both on the rosette all the way around the body as well as the rosette on the sound hole. And then of course, how can you miss the freaking tree of life or whatever flower pot inlay thing here, and then also on the headstock as well. So Larson came up with a couple of really, really great innovations in the day. A lot of the stuff that they did was groundbreaking in bracing the tops under tension. This is right around the time that people started to play with heavier gauge strings, because up, early 1900s, up and through the teens and everything, you really have to use silk and steel on everything, or you'll just rip the tops off. They found some ways to get tops that could handle heavier tension strings. You'll notice also their bridge kind of looks very, very similar to kind of Martin's pyramid style bridge, just the pyramid has kind of been taken off and flattened out, but it's still in that kind of pyramid style. And another peculiar thing is the way they cut for the bridge pins. You'll see the bridge pins all kind of angle back at an angle. That was intentionally done to really make sure to increase as much as possible this break angle over the saddle. A lot of times when we talk about neck sets and stuff on Martins, you shave this saddle down, you shave it down, you shave it down, it gets super low. You really start to lose that downward force going down to the bridge plate, and that's where all the tone comes from. So when you do the neck set and you can get a tall saddle on there again, you really increase that angle, the break angle, you increase the downward tension, and you really get it sitting heavy on the saddle, and that's when you get the attack. This one has got a patent number in here of July 12th, 1904. Not sure what that patent's for. Like I said, there's no number inside of the guitar to really date these. Maurer kind of goes up into the 30s and then kind of gets replaced by the Euphonon name, which you'll see a lot of the other high-end instruments done under. They also had their company Prairie State. Prairie State, again, similar construction, although on a lot of Prairie States they did this big steel bar that kind of went through the center of the guitar. Fender did a similar thing in the 60s when they started doing acoustic guitars as well. But this thing's in really great shape. They're totally rare and very hard to come by. This one is in pretty remarkable condition.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, really cool guitar. We're gonna go out and play here in a second. I think it was Tuesday on Guitar of the Day. We were doing a Rickenbacker. I was looking in the comments section, and one of our regular watchers and commenters, a guy named Will Stark, said a friend of his had passed away earlier that morning, had committed suicide, which is awful, and news I'm really getting sick of hearing about suicides, man.
Right.
It sucks for everybody involved for a variety of different reasons on a variety of different levels. It's one of those things that's really hard to understand.
This one's for him, though.
This is, he asked if we would do maybe some Dylan and some Springsteen as a memorial for his friend. Will, I got you, homie. Let's go to the couch. We'll do some fingerstyle. We'll hit this thing with a pick. Try and remember Will's friend. All right, we're out front. We have the early 1930s Maurer style 595. Let's put it through the paces here. We'll start with the fingers. We'll switch to a pick in a little bit. Let's switch to a flat pick. Let's hit this thing a little bit harder here. See how this thing responds to some volume. From the early 1930s, this is a Larson Brothers made Maurer style 595 presentation series. Pearl all over it. Brazilian rosewood back and sides, spruce top, ebony board and bridge. One of the rare, harder to come by guitars you'll probably ever see, and it's in absolutely fantastic condition. There's your Flat Top Friday for this week. We'll see you guys tomorrow for one final episode of Guitar of the Day. Till then, follow me on Instagram at Mark Agnesi. Follow the store at Norman's Rare Guitars. And check this and the rest of these guitars out online at normansrareguitars.com. See you guys tomorrow. It's a pretty good Saturday.